This program is rated PG. It contains themes and scenes which may not be suitable for very young audiences. Parental guidance is advised.
And for our latest news, reproductive system plays essential roles in both female and male development. Formation of gametes through meiosis.
The male reproductive system. The regulation of hormones. The female reproductive system.
The process of oogenesis and fertilization.
Male reproductive system.
The physiology of female reproductive system. Different sexual transmitted disease.
Good day, Augustinians, and this is MLS Patrol.
We are here today again for another wonderful discovery.
Yes, we are, and our topic is all about reproductive system.
The reproductive system plays essential roles in the development of the structural and functional differences between males and females, influence the human behavior, and produce offspring. However, a reproductive system, unlike other organ systems, is not necessary for the survival of an individual human. Reproduction system refers many functions, and one of them is production of gametes. Sperm cells in the testes of males and oocytes in the ovaries of the females. Another function is the fertilization, development, and nourishment of a new individual, and production of sex hormones. How are gametes formed, by the way? Let's hear it from Peter Jan Tan.
Gametes or sexes are produced by the testes and ovary, and this is a type of form of cell division called meiosis. Meiosis occurs only in testes and ovary. During meiosis, one cell undergoes two consecutive cell divisions to produce 4 daughter cells, each having half as many chromosomes as the parent cell. Before meiosis begins, all the chromosomes are duplicated. In the first meiotic division occurs, the duplicated chromosomes become visible chromatids. Pair of chromosomes synapse. Crossing over may occur at this stage. This pair of chromosomes then align along the center of the cell. Random assortment of chromosomes occur. Chromosomes then move apart opposite side of the cell, and now nuclei form, and the cell divides. Each of 23 chromosomes in each daughter cell consists of 2 chromatids, joined by the centromere. The first meiotic division is therefore called a reductive division, because the chromosomes number is reduced from 46 to 23 chromosomes. The second meiotic division is similar to mitosis. The chromosomes of each consisting of 2 chromatids align along the center of the cell. Then the chromatids separate at the centromere, and each daughter cell receives one of the chromatids from each chromosomes. When the centromere separates, each of the chromatids is called a chromosomes. Consequently, each of the 4 daughter cells is produced by meiosis contains 23 chromosomes.
Males and females have different reproductive systems. Their reproductive organs function to produce such hormones. Jake, can you tell us something about the male reproductive system?
The male reproductive system consists of the testes, a series of ducts, accessory glands, and supporting structures. The ducts include epididymis, the vas deferens, and the urethra. Accessory glands include the seminal vesicles, the prostate gland, and the bulbourethral glands. Supporting structures include the scrotum and the penis. The sperm cell is very heat sensitive and must develop at a temperature slightly less than normal body temperature. That is why the testis is located outside of the body in the scrotum. The testes or male gonads are oval, each about 4 to 5 cm long. The seminiferous tubules of each testis empties into a tubular network called ready testis, then to the efferent ductules to the epididymis, where sperm cells continue to mature and develop. The vas deferens emerges from the epididymis and ascends to the posterior side of the testis. Near the ampulla of each vas deferens is a sock-shaped gland called the seminal vesicle that joins with the ampulla at prostate gland form ejaculatory duct. Let's take a deeper look on the other reproductive organs.
The penis is the male organ of copulation and function in the transfer of sperm cell from male to the female. The penis undergoes the process of erection wherein the penis enlarges and becomes firm. The process of erection is engorgement of three erectile tissue with blood. Corpora cavernosa is the two-column erectile tissue in the dorsal sides of penis. The corpus spongiosum is the third erectile tissue and is in the ventral portion. The prostate gland consists of both glandular and muscular tissue and about the size of shape of walnut. It surrounds the urethra in two ejaculatory ducts. It consists of capsule and numerous partitions. The bulbourethral glands or Cooper glands are a pair of small mucus-secreting glands located near the base of penis. In young adults, each is about the size of a pea, but they decrease in size with age. A single duct, each gland enters the urethra. In the regulation of sex hormone secretion, the hypothalamus of the brain, the anterior pituitary gland, and the testes produce hormone that influences male reproductive system.
Do you wonder how male hormones secreted? I bet you do. This next video clip is all about the regulation of male sex hormones by Dr. Maria Isabel Tadifa Simpas.
Regulation of sex hormone secretion. The hypothalamus of the brain, the anterior pituitary gland, and the testes produce hormones that influence the male reproductive system. First, gonadotropin-releasing hormone from the hypothalamus stimulates the secretion of the luteinizing hormone and follicle-stimulating hormone from the anterior pituitary. Then, LH stimulates testosterone secretion from the interstitial cells. Next, FSH stimulates sestentacular cells of the seminiferous tubules to increase spermatogenesis and to secrete inhibin. The testosterone has a stimulatory effect on the sestentacular cells of the seminiferous tubules, as well as on the development of sex organs and secondary sex characteristics. Testosterone has a negative feedback effect on the hypothalamus and pituitary to reduce GnRH, LH, and FSH secretion. And lastly, the inhibin has also a negative feedback effect on the anterior pituitary to reduce FSH secretion. For GnRH to stimulate LH and FSH release, the pituitary gland must be exposed to a series of brief increase and decreases in GnRH. If GnRH is maintained at a high level in the blood for days or weeks, the anterior pituitary cells become insensitive.
Enough about the male reproductive system. Let's talk about the female reproductive system and its functions with Miss Abigail Marie Perez.
The female reproductive system consists of the ovaries, the fallopian tubes, the external genitalia, and the mammary glands. These internal organs are located between the urinary bladder and the rectum. The ovaries are two small organs suspended in the pelvic cavity by ligaments. Part of an ovary is the suspensory ligament, which extends from each ovary to the lateral body wall, and the ovarian ligament, which attaches the ovary to the superior margin of the uterus. Ovaries are also responsible for the production of oocytes, estrogen, and progesterones. The uterine tubes are also called the fallopian tubes, or the oviduct. It is associated with each ovary, and they extend from the area of the ovaries to the uterus. They open directly into the peritoneal cavity near each ovary and receive the secondary oocyte. Fertilization usually occurs in the part of the uterine tube near the ovary called the ampulla. The fertilized oocyte then travels to the uterus, where it embeds in the uterine wall in the process called implantation. The uterus is as big as a medium-sized pear. It is oriented in the pelvic cavity with a larger, rounded part directed superiorly. Some of its parts are fundus, which is superior to the entrance of uterine tubes, the body, which is the main part, the cervix, the narrower part, and the cervical canal, which opens to the vagina. 3 layers of the uterine wall are the outer perimetrium, or the serous layer, the middle myometrium, the muscular layer, and the innermost endometrium. Development of oocyte into fetus usually occurs in uterus. The vagina is the female organ of copulation. It receives the penis during intercourse. It also allows menstrual flow in childbirth. It extends from the uterus to the outside of the body. The wall of the vagina consists of an outer muscular layer and an inner mucous membrane. The muscular layer is smooth muscle and contains many elastic fibers. Thus, it is responsible to the increase in size to accommodate the penis during intercourse and stretch greatly during childbirth. While the mucous membrane is most stratified, squamous epithelium that forms a protective surface layer. The mammary glands. These glands are the organs of milk production and are located in the breasts. The mammary glands are modified sweat glands. Externally, each of the breasts of both males and females have raised nipples surrounded by a circular pigmented area called.
Here with us today is Dr. Pamela Velasco, a well-known gynecologist from the Gamay Center.
Good morning. Joining us today is Dr. Pamela Kate Velasco. Good morning, Doc.
Good morning.
So, Doc, can you tell us something about fertilization?
Usually, we define fertilization as a union of sperm cell and an egg cell. It begins when a sperm cells penetrate the cytoplasm of a secondary oocytes. After ovulation, the secondary oocytes may be fertilized with a sperm cell. Subsequently, the secondary oocytes completes the second mitotic division to form 2 cells, each containing 23 chromosomes.
So, when does the formation of female gametes begin?
The formation of female gametes begins during fetal development. Even before the female is born, by the 4th month of development, the ovaries contains 5 million oogonia, the cell from which the oocytes develop.
Doc, when is ovulation?
Ovulation is release of an oocyte from an ovary. Just before ovulation, the primary oocytes completes the first mitotic division to produce a secondary oocytes and a polar body.
But Doc, what happens during ovulation?
Oogonia gives rise to the oocytes. Before the birth, oogonia multiply by mitosis. During development of the fetus, many oogonia begin meiosis, but stop in the prophase 1 and are now called the primary oocytes. They remain in this state until puberty.
Thank you, Doc.
Regulation of female hormones happens inside the female reproductive organ, especially the ovaries. Female in their early teens experience what is commonly known as menstruation. Live from the University of the San Agustin, Edric Villanueva. Edric?
Thank you, Jay. The term menstrual cycle refers to the series of changes that occurs in sexually mature, non-pregnant females and that culminate in menses. Cyclical changes in the uterus are controlled by estrogen and progesterone produced by the ovary. From day 1 to day 4 or 5, menses are produced. Menstrual fluid is produced by the generation of endometrium. Menses is a period of mild hemorrhage during which part of the endometrium is lodged and expelled from the uterus. Proliferative phase occurs from day 5 to day of ovulation. Secretory phase occurs from day of ovulation to day 28. The endometrium becomes thicker and endometrial glands secrete. The uterus is prepared for implantation of the developing blastocyst by day 21. Typically, the menstrual cycle is about 28 days long.
although it can be short as 18 days or as long as 40 days. This is Edric John Villanueva, back to studio.
As people grow older, the regulation of their hormones also decreases. And for the females who are in their late 40s, menopause is usually experienced. Live from the University of the San Agustin, Davis James Singapore. Davis.
Thank you, Jake. When a woman is 40 to 50 years old, the menstrual cycles become less regular and ovulation does not occur consistently during each cycle. Eventually, the cycles stop completely. The cessation of menstrual cycles is called menopause. The major cause of menopause is age-related changes in the ovaries. The number of follicles remaining in the ovaries of menopausal women is small. In addition, the follicles that remain become less sensitive to stimulation by FSH and LH, and therefore fewer mature follicles and corpulate are produced. Older women experience gradual changes in response to the reduced amount of estrogen and progesterone produced by the ovaries. Live from the University of San Agustin, reporting Davis James, Singapore.
STD is commonly known as sexually transmitted disease. These are usually transmitted by direct sexual contact, or some may be contracted by other sexual means. Live from University of San Agustin, Mr. Dwayne Tupas. Dwayne.
Thank you, Justin. There are different kinds of STD such as chlamydia. Chlamydia is a common STD or STI caused by the bacterium Chlamydia trachomatis. Chlamydia can be transmitted during vaginal, oral, and sexual intercourse with an infected partner. In gonorrhea, is caused by the bacterium Neisseria gonorrhea, which can grow rapidly and multiply easily in the warm, moist areas and reproductive tract. While in genital herpes is a contagious infection caused by the herpes simplex virus. There are two different strains of types of HSV.
And for our poll survey, let us all hear about pregnancy control from Justin Rose.
Control of pregnancy. There are many methods used to prevent pregnancy, either by preventing fertilization or contraception, or by preventing implantation of the developing embryo. Many of these techniques are quite effective when used perfectly and effectively, but most of these methods also have disadvantages.
There are three kinds of behavioral method. One is abstinence, or refraining from sexual intercourse. This is 100% effective in preventing pregnancy when it is practiced consistently. Another is coitus interruptus, or withdrawal method. This is the removal of the penis from the vagina just before ejaculation. But this is very unreliable method of preventing pregnancy because it requires perfect awareness and willingness to withdraw the penis at the correct time. And the last would be calendar method. This requires abstaining from sexual intercourse near the time of ovulation. A major factor in the success of this method is the ability to predict accurately the time of ovulation. There are two kinds of barrier methods. One is using a condom. A male condom is a sheet made of animal membrane, rubber, or plastic. When placed over the erect penis, a condom is a barrier device because it collects the semen instead of allowing it to release into the vagina. The second is using the diaphragm or the cervical cap. They are flexible latex that are placed over the cervix within the vagina, where they prevent sperm cells from passing from the vagina through the cervical canal of the uterus. And the last would be the chemical methods. There are two types of chemical methods. One is oral contraceptives and another is mini pill. Oral contraceptives. Synthetic estrogen and progesterone in oral contraceptives are among the most effective contraceptives, providing 99.9% effectiveness. Mini pill. An oral contraceptive that contains only synthetic progesterone. It reduces and thickens the mucus of the cervix, which prevents sperm cells from reaching the oocyte. It also prevents blastocytes from implanting in the uterus.
Once again, I'm Justin Rose.
And I'm Jack Neil Russell.
And I am John Timor.